Mustafa Kayyali, uh, welcome to our studio. It's a great pleasure to see you in this webinar series. You are a higher education scholar who examines policies with regard to quality assurance as well as institutional accreditation. And you are also known by this ambitious project of trying to develop encyclopedia of higher education to reflect on the most current concepts of what's going on. It's like I guess I have seen recently, I saw your calls for submissions of various items which you listed on your website. And it's like over 13 volumes, I suppose. You also have support from your Minister of Education, just giving you appraisal for this particular project. So tonight you will speak about the hidden curriculum of rankings. So you suggested that this particular topic raises a lot of concern, and I can see that a lot of colleagues just joined us for this webinar, just probably to learn more about your statement that we are driven in our behaviors and our concepts by what we learn from this hidden curricula of university rankings. So, Mustafa, please share with us your concept, and then we'll have a bit of time just to clarify some issues through questions or comments. So the virtual floor is yours. Welcome.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a great pleasure for me to be with you today. And first of all, I do apologize for being late. Actually, I was traveling from another city, so it took like, traffic jam. So I'm really sorry for that. My name is Mustafa Kayyali. Thank you so much, Professor Antonello. You mentioned about my Professor Natalie talk about my focus on higher education. So this is, you can say, my major field operation for the last 10 years. So I have published more than 25 books and more than 200 papers and book chapters. And recently, like 1 year ago, I've started the Encyclopedia for Education, which is one of the major leading projects related to higher education in the Middle East and the world. And as I've said, it's 13 volumes, and I do believe that it's going to be more than 13 volumes because we got a huge interest from researchers over the world. So I believe that it's going to be published in 2027, and hopefully this project, among other projects, are going to take part in the literature of higher education. So one more time, I'm indebted and thankful for Professor Natalie for giving me this opportunity to talk about rankings, which is one of the areas that I have worked during the last few years. So today I'm going to talk about curriculum of rankings, how universities learn to perform using rankings, how they can use rankings to improve the operation. So simply speaking, my name is Mustafa Kayyali. I'm working in higher education, as I've said. A board member of Syrian International Advisory Council. In addition to that, I'm professor at Western University, lecturer at Maarif University, and I'm working in higher education ranking, which is a new ranking body. Actually, it's still under development, like 4 years old, so it's a new ranking actually. In addition to that, I'm working with different accreditation agencies all over the world. And as I've said, I've published many publications, many books. Many of them are about rankings, which is a good idea because, talking about rankings from a person who published about rankings and work in rankings. So I'm going to offer some insights about how we can use rankings for the best of universities. So I'm going to provide my insights, and then we can make it like discussion, and we can clarify ideas related to the idea. So our perception of rankings. So different people might think about rankings. Some of them might believe that rankings are fake, like an illusion, while others they believe that rankings are fact. So this is about the perception. How do we perceive rankings? How we look at rankings? How we understand rankings? Whether they are fact, then we deal with them as something that we can use to develop our universities, higher education institutions, universities. Or if we believe about them as fake, something not real, then at that moment we can think about how we can, enhance our maybe perception about them so that they are here to stay. I mean, rankings are here to stay so that we can use them to reflect our operation, to enhance our operation, and to develop our understanding of universities. So rankings are more than, something like tables, league tables. They are like a mirror. They are reflection for our operations. So a university might choose ranking in a way that enhances its operation, develop its operation. So every year, that university can look at ranking, how it's being, developed, enhanced. So whether it's getting a better ranking, this is not about promotion. This is about that. It's, strategic areas, its KPIs are improving and enhancing. Or of the situation is the opposite, is getting like negative or getting like lower ranking, then those universities can look at ranking of why it happened that way. So universities are not to ask how are we being judged. It's about how we can improve, how we can enhance, and how we can develop. And this is, the DNA of rankings. This is how we should look at rankings, not as something just tables, not to promote our operation, but to enhance our operation. So one more time, they are a reflection of our operation. If the university would like to think about a way how it can enhance its operation, so we can have the 5 years cycle of accreditation. I'm familiar with that, and I know that all of our colleagues, they know that accreditation, maybe institutional accreditation cycle is like 5 or 7 years, depends on accreditation agency or accreditation body. So it might take a longer time to measure your development or enhancement, while ranking is something like annual, it's 1 year cycle. So we can use them to see how we are improving every year. So this is maybe the main difference between rankings and accreditation. So a metric can be a teacher. This is important. So ranking is not about how we look at them as a way to explain. It's about how they reward universities, how they expose universities, and how they can provide universities with their operation. So one more time, a ranking is not to judge a university. It's to make it understand its operation more and better. And this is why, when I started, I'd say that maybe a university might look at ranking as, a fact or fake. It depends on the way you look at them and the way you, perceive them, the way you look at them, the way you understand them. So for universities and for leaders, why they look at rankings, how they think about rankings, because they measure all areas of operation. So we have many ranking agencies, many ranking bodies. Some of them they have higher KPIs for research. Others have KPIs for maybe teaching. So all of those rankings they use different criteria, and in all they have that holistic cycle of performance. So a university would know that is developing in maybe governance, teaching, research, publications, citations, whatever. So that is the reason why rankings are important, because for leaders it's about partnership, recruitment campaigns, and resources management. For academics, teachers, professors, it's about how they think about maybe the potentials they have. And for quality assurance, of course, it's about the metrics that they have and the metrics how they can develop their operation. And for that reason, actually, it's a holistic process. All stakeholders of higher education are integrated in rankings. We are not excluding anything. So starting governance of the university, till we reach the teaching process, research impact, student impact. So a ranking would measure everything. And for that reason, it has that, influence on universities. For that reason, it attract attention of all, researchers, because at that moment when a university believe that ranking is a reflection of its operation, at that moment that university would develop its operation and of course enhance its the way to operate actually. So rankings are of course not about comparison one more time. They're about visibility, about prestige, and they're about enhancement, improvement. And one more time, whenever university focus on its operation using ranking, and at that moment it can maybe develop its way of working and how it can maybe enhance its operation. Maybe when we talk about quality assurance, if we compare quality assurance to ranking or accreditation to ranking, maybe there is a minor maybe difference. The quality assurance agency might ask for audit reports or provide of evidence, while for rankings, maybe not the same scenario because it takes the information details of the university and then providing that report and then developing that report and then by the time enhancing. This is about continuous improvement for university. Maybe this is how quality assurance works and the same way how rankings actually operate. So one more time, a university should think about rankings as a tool for enhancement, improvement, not for promotion, because the moment we feel and those universities believe that it's about how to promote, then it's the destruction of universities, like you can see in this picture, because at that moment we can see that if that's the situation of universities, then they will not actually focus on improvement of university. They believe on how to get a higher ranking. And this is going to be a critical issue because they might neglect areas that rankings are not focusing or not getting maybe high criteria or high KPI. And at that moment, they would neglect those things that are important. I'm going to talk about them, of course, after a while. So universities learn from rankings. One more time. Rankings are two-edged sword. We can use them for better or for worse, of course. We can use them to improve our operation or to, promote our operation. Of course, the first scenario is good. The second one is bad because at that moment when we trust rankings, then we use them to enhance that ecosystem, that holistic ecosystem of universities, and enhance how our students would get that added value, how our professors are taking about to creation of knowledge, which is something extremely important nowadays. So universities can use rankings as strategic benchmarking. They learn from others and they maybe in some scenarios, some situations, they maybe mimic other universities. So the issue that I have in mind is that the risk is that universities that become excellent at resemblance but less sure about its own vocation. So let me say that maybe I have, a research-oriented university. That university would already think about research impact by the time this university is going to work very good in that very good operation. If I got a teaching-based university and that university started to imitate, mimic other university, then at that moment, maybe it would not provide that added value to its students because it's different ecosystem. And for that reason, it would not get that improvement. It would not improve society as, a system, as a complete system. And for that reason, that university would not, develop its students or the message or why it was maybe operating for the reason of this operation. For that reason, research, oriented university would work in certain way, different than other type of universities. For that reason, a university should work on its journey, not to imitate other universities. For that reason, even having a benchmarking having a university would say that I would enhance my ranking, then it should focus on its own improvement, own development, not just to take the experience of take a scenario of any other university and make it the same as its own operation. Research is very important because publish perish, of course, all of us we know about it. It's a big issue because universities are thinking about research to add value. So professors are asked to publish. So rankings are asking universities to publish. So quality assurance agencies are asking to publish. So publication is important for universities. What it should be about is own operation, one more time. It's not about that I publish for ranking, I'm publishing for my own operation. This is very important. So universities or professors are not looking at rankings as tables, as those tables. They are looking at rankings, how to reward and enhance their working and operation. So we are using, or rankings are using and having KPI of research to enhance and develop the operation, not just to take it as a imitation maybe for accreditation. One more time, for accreditation, research is one of the main criteria, but here is maybe a less maybe required one. For that reason, universities, they should think about rankings in that way, to enhance and to develop. So publication for rankings, one more time, this is about how it happened, because you have the journal and then you build the citation and then you track your improvement, then universities reward winners. This is how it happened for rankings and how rankings are maybe guiding universities. So research is important. One more time, we need research, we need publication. So the more universities think about their improvement following rankings, the more better they would be, the better the operation would be. So the publication criteria is one of the main issues that rankings are focusing on. So like this, scientist is asking to cite his paper. So this is how it happens. So if I look from the prospect of ranking, this is about how to encourage universities to publish. So one more time, a university would trust a ranking body because it enhances its operation, it develops its operation, and of course, making an added value for what it provides to society. And of course, this is very important for generation. Selectivity management reputation is one of the issue that maybe it might be a problem because when universities think about recruitment strategies, stronger academic profiles, better articulation of institutional strength, then this is going to improve its operation. But at the same moment, they might neglect things that are not required by rankings. This is what I've mentioned when I started, that sometimes we might have maybe areas that are not required by ranking. Then at that moment, those areas are going to be neglected by rankings. And those universities are going to neglect them. So this is going to be a problem for universities and for ranking agencies, actually. The question that we might have for the moment is that which ranking behavior at your university has produced a genuine improvement, at which one has mainly produced a better looking performance. So we talk about, the benchmarking issue, we talk about research, we talk about teaching, and we talk about, that selective management process. So one more time, a university is to trust ranking to enhance its operation, and so is going to think about ranking to operate better in a better way. So different universities having different experiences depending on the first question that I have in mind. The first question that I mentioned, whether do you think rankings are a fact or fake? So you decide whether you believe that rankings would improve your operation or not, depending on your cases and your, of course, your situation. So as I say, rankings are two-edged sword. It can be a way to improve universities, and it can be a way to maybe I'm not going to say to make an added or a negative impact to universities, but a university might think about them in a way that can, ignore very important areas, or sometimes to maybe, align or make the university away from its own mission or statement. The first and the biggest issue, I believe, for the negative impact of rankings is about the teaching. You know, the teaching impact, of course, we know that we need research, as I've mentioned, and this is important. And at the same time, we need that teaching impact for students. We need to teach them, provide lectures and such things. So sometimes rankings, they provide privilege and advantage to research visibility. So as you know, for universities, it's okay that every year I can provide my, report that I published like 100, 1,000 papers. We published 10 or 15 or 20 books. So it's something that you can count. You can provide that something visible. So rankings, they like that idea. We get like data, information, details. While teaching might be something that universities can celebrate much as they can do for teaching. And for that reason, universities might believe that they can provide more focus on research visibility more than for teaching. And this is a big problem because it's going to be a long-term negative impact for universities. Because by the time universities are not going to provide that focus, on teaching prospect, and that is going to be, leading to, consequences actually to the operation. Because one more time, research is one of the criteria for universities, but teaching at the same time is one of the main issues that universities should think about and should respect, and of course should remember. Next, consequences of rankings is community missions may become background noise. We know that universities are, part of society, then they have a community mission to support and help society, to help and provide development for community. So many universities provide that civic, labor. They can meet people. They can, help in solving local problems. This is very important. Developing society, developing community. So when rankings neglect these criteria by the time, then maybe universities are not going to shed light or spend funds on this issue on how to develop community. And this is, as I've said, this is very important because if universities, like to think away from the operation, away from their society, then who is going to develop society? Who is going to develop community? This is going to be a big problem, a big issue actually, because again, one more time, if universities are not developing their own community, then this is going to be a big problem. And this is one of the issues that rankings, they have that problem issue about them. Inequity becomes easier to produce. Actually, this is one of the problems of rankings because, again, one more time, if I would like to provide a healthy, holistic operation system for universities, then I need to provide an infrastructure for the whole universities, for everything. And this is a problem because if the university is thinking about maybe providing a focus on something less important for rankings, then this is going to lead to an equality for operation or for educational process. And this is going to be a problem like infrastructure, like developing labs and like such things. So it's not about visibility. It's not always about visibility. It's about improvement. So one more time, ranking should be a reflection for the university. Like you look at yourself at the mirror. You look at yourself, you see yourself. You are not pretending to be somebody else. This is how rankings should be. This is how rankings should rate. And this is how rankings should develop. It's not like we try to show a better perception or a better maybe impression of ourselves. This is about how we are and how we would like to be actually. Combined cultures can weaken academic creativity. So rankings follow a same structure, like following a pattern, following a certain system. So universities might feel that they must follow that system literally to develop. Like, think about research, you think about governance, you think about like doing one, two, three, four, five. So by the time if universities start to think about that literally, then that would reduce creativity. Academic creativity is very important, similar to academic freedom. So if universities start to focus on maybe what to do instead of what we can do, then this is going to be a very big problem because that, ranking obsessed culture, it might replace that, atmosphere of goals, what I want, not what that ranking wants. If I'm a university that would like to do something, then this is my mission for life. This is my mission for community. This is why I've started operating. Then I'm not going to replace my goals and my plans with what the ranking want me to do. And this is might be one of the negative, areas that rankings might affect universities to operate. It would reduce creativity. So one more time, universities should think about why I'm doing this, how I want to do it, instead of thinking about I should change my path to align with ranking. Of course, whenever this is something helpful for universities, I'm supporting 100%. I'm supporting this, but whenever it's something that's affecting the operation of universities at that moment, is going to have that negative impact, not positive impact for universities. The university might be fluent but less honest. This is a big problem, and this is a big issue that we have in mind. So, trust is very important. We use rankings because we want ourselves to be better, to enhance and improve our operation. So we should be honest with ourselves, honest with others, honest with our students, and with our followers, researchers, and such things. So when we talk about excellence, then it's about the high impact, about the global impact, about being visible. One more time. Language candor, it's about where are we fragile and even slow, still learning. This is the area that universities should think about because this is the area that they should operate and work. Because one more time, this is about to improve, not to pretend that we are the best, not to pretend that we are the best university, the best, strategy, the best internationalization step. It's about that we are improving. So the language of integrity, what evidence would change our mind, how we can improve and what evidence we can provide to show that we are improving. Not like, we are just pretending to be improving or simply that we are providing that, plan to be the best while we neglect other areas for improvement. So being honest, it's very important because one more time, rankings should be a way to improve and enhance, not to deceive or to promote. And promotion for rankings is one of the issues. Unfortunately, this is a big issue. We can't, talk about everything during one session, but promotion for rankings is a big issue because, rankings are proof that your university is operating in a good way. It should be like that, not to promote yourself by your ranking, not to promote and show others that, look at me, I'm good because I have a good ranking. No, you are good because you are operating in good way. You are providing good research, and providing good teaching experience. You have internationalization strategy, not because you are just like, you are deceiving the KPIs of the ranking in order to get a better points or better rankings, such things. So safeguards for quality assurance informed and how to improve how to operate in a good way. So the task is not to reject measurement, is to demonstrate it ethically. So we are doing good. Here is our proof. This is how universities should do, and this is how they should, provide their operations. So safeguards for rankings can, or a university can engage in ranking in different process, different steps. So we have the data governance, and we have the narrative reporting, we have the mission-aligned KPIs, and we have the balance dashboards. So the university would start to think about the improvement plan. Then they have their plans to develop and improve. And then they have the KPIs that they are improving. And one more time, those KPIs, they should be balanced. One more time, balanced KPIs, not to think about something, neglect other things. And then we have, at the end, the balanced dashboards, the final conclusion that we reached that we improved in this, improving that. At that moment, that would be how we are developing and how we are improving. So without thinking about that, and without thinking about developing this maybe strategy, a university would be just like trying to manipulate numbers, manipulate values. Because again, if you think about that, I would like to, uh, get maybe a higher ranking without improvement, then this is going to be like an echo, only echo, something empty inside, deep inside is empty. Like you have a good maybe shape, but inside there is a big problem. And for that reason, KPIs should be balanced. So universities, even when they think that they would like to get a better ranking, then they should think about the best to do regarding their data and KPIs, and of course that dashboard issue that you see everything from maybe a third person perspective, maybe from outsider, from the macro prospect, not from the micro part. So when you look at rankings from external person for your university at that moment, you can see that we are enhancing the institution, not deceiving like students and such things. So data governance, how to make maybe numbers answerable. So good data governance is not bureaucracy, it's defense against component fiction. So one more time, data governance is very important, providing the good data, providing the real data is very important. Starting from how to collect the data, where it came from, who is responsible, how can verify the data, what are the problem with the data, what they are not showing, and how will it be used. So those data, whenever they are about, uh, rankings, whenever they are used about rankings, then at that moment, that university can operate in that correct way, corrective way, and enhancing way, like why they want to do something instead of something else. So mission-aligned KPIs to bring someone else. This is what I've said from the beginning, that it's about you, about your DNA. This is about your university. It's about indicators that you have and how you are improving, your operations. So the mission, what's your mission? What's your mission? What does this university exist to do for student knowledge, professors, region, and society? This is about your mission. This is about how you do things. You provide things. Then whenever you use this ranking to maybe, whenever you have your mission to develop society or to produce knowledge or provide experience or maybe new experience to students, then at that moment, you can use rankings to maybe enhance your mission. Don't borrow someone else. This is important. Don't imitate another university that is having a different scenario than your scenario, different plan than your plan, different strategy than your strategy. Don't imitate a university that's having different maybe operation than your operation. Then review consequences. Which behavior will the KPI invite? Who will be burdened? What will be neglected? This is important. So we have that KPI, how to develop that KPI. Am I doing good? Am I developing this KPI? Would it be aligning with my mission? Would it enhance the university or not? Then choose indicators which measures can honestly imitate what mission without reducing it to a narrow performance trick. How can I enhance and how can I apply and develop this indicator in that honest way? How can I use them to enhance and develop the university in that honest way? And how can I use them to develop my institution and enhance my institution? Then having that KPI would be the best way to develop the operation of the university. Transparent narrative reporting, data would be turned to meaning, not just performance story. Then the meaning would be about how my university has improved. This is why I need it. This is how I use those data. Because at the end, whenever I have enhancement, then I have my own university, I have my own mission. Then those KPIs, those indicators, they improve the university to the best way. They improve its operation and they enhance its complete ecosystem. They enhance its operation. So balanced dashboards resist single metric hypothesis. This is important. For rankings, they focus all of ranking bodies. They focus on different areas. They think of different criteria, different KPIs, different indicators. Then a good university will think about a holistic improvement, not focusing only on one indicator. So if I have a fund for the university, if I have budget for the university, then I'm going to try to provide support to all areas, all corners of the university. So whenever you have the research, then you should provide this research, you should provide that teaching and learning. You should support the equity and access. And of course, you should support your community mission. And you should work with integrity. This is important. This is not that we are deceiving rankings. This is that we are deceiving numbers. This is not about we are making pressure or just gaining numbers. This is about integrity. For that reason, the university should think about the question, not how do we climb rankings. It's about what kind of excellence are we building. This is important because by the time whenever you are developing your operation, you are not climbing rankings. It's not about the climbing. It's not about getting maybe a higher ranking. This is not our goal, one more time. This is not why we have rankings. Universities are not to get a better ranking. It's about a better experience for students, a better experience for society, a better experience for community. It's about improvement of its own operation and providing that added value that aligns with this mission. And for that reason, they should think about it like, We develop all of our corners to develop our experience to get a better excellence for our institution. It's not to focus on one criteria only. This is very important, actually. Anti-gaming, this is important as I've mentioned about it and talk about that actually. It's about integrity. This is not about that we deceive numbers, not about that we change results, about not like, we are gambling with rankings. It's about that we have a mission and the ranking has a mission. And this is important actually, because the mission of ranking bodies is to improve universities, enhance their operation. How to do that? By having those criteria, KPIs, and those indicators. So the goal of those indicators is to measure how university is operating, taking those indicators into account. So the ranking is to help university, not to maybe deceive or not to change the university for us. So rankings ask universities to be transparent, ask universities to develop the operation, ask universities to provide real and integrated results. So universities at the same time, they should use those rankings and their KPIs and indicators in a way to enhance their operation, not to just climb the ladder. And this is actually very important. Maybe a practical protocol that every ranking or every university can think about is that whether we have improvement for universities or for research, whether it has improvement for the mission, and who is benefiting from from applying this ranking, and it's about how the indicator is improving the universities. Of course, we have that honesty and integrity issue for the university. So a university, whenever they follow rankings, they should think about dealing with those indicators and thinking about those indicators in a way that they can develop their operation. Final conclusion, final issue for my topic today is that universities should use rankings in a wiser way. They should use rankings in a way to enhance the operation. So rankings teach university how to operate. They teach universities how to enhance. They teach universities how to improve. They teach universities how to develop. At the same time, universities learn from rankings what to do. So they learn from rankings how to improve. So I have a plan for universities, like ranking has a plan for universities. Universities follow that plan in an ethical way. So the quality assurance protects meaning for universities. It keeps evidence connected to mission and integrity. And this is the mission of both rankings and universities, because the university should follow the criteria of ranking, following its strategy and mission, not just blindly following any university or mimicking any university, or should just do anything that would improve its operation. And at the same time, a ranking body should maybe provide certain KPIs that can be measured following the data governance, the integrity of data that university would offer. So recommendations, of course, for leaders and for quality assurance teams at universities: keep rankings as information, not identity. This is what I've started from the beginning, that if you believe that rankings are supporting and helping you, this is great. Do it to improve your operation. This is not your identity. This is not to show that I've got this ranking, this number. This is not about promotion. This is about improvement. So this is very important, actually. Build KPIs from mission before borrowing external indicators. So this is about your mission. This is about your vision. And it's about your message for community. So you should develop those KPIs following them. balance research, teaching, equity, and community responsibility. This is, if you would get my feedback, this is the most important issue, actually. The most important point and the most important issue that universities should think about. They should take into account that I should balance as a university. I should balance research with teaching, with equity, with what my community or my society needs me to do. Because one more time, this to make like something helpful for for community, helpful for my students, helpful for my professors. I'm not going to just highlight and think about visibility for research while neglecting teaching, while neglecting while I'm operating, while neglecting my community. At the same time, I'm not going to take one issue, which is important by rankings and neglecting other things. We should balance, and universities should balance actually. Audit side effects before rewarding targets. So whenever I have maybe developing a ranking, I have a KPI, I should, before separating my success in ranking, before separating my, or having a higher maybe a point or having a better ranking, then I should think about how to target, how to address issues that I have with lower KPIs that I need and that I want. So a university should be balanced and should address rankings with balance. It should make that, that balanced structure for its operation and reward limits and unfinished work honestly. This is important. Don't pretend to be doing something while you are not doing that. And again, as I've said from the beginning, rankings are the reflection of your operation. So you should use it wisely to show you who you are, what you want to be. So you should use them wisely to enhance and develop your self. So universities can learn from rankings without becoming ranking seeking machines. This is maybe the closing reflection that I would like to highlight, that I would like to talk about. Higher education institutions, they should develop their operation following their missions, statements, following their goals, following their plans, and not simply to change their ecosystem to imitate or to resemble a ranking body. They should keep their academic operation, academic creativity, academic development. They should follow their mission. They should follow their vision. And then they can align that mission with the ranking by the time, not to replace what they want with what the ranking wants. So they are a real institutions, not like machines that are seeking to get a better ranking. Thank you so much. And again, I'm indebted to Professor Natalie for giving me this opportunity to be, talking today. So now I would like to, of course, if we have any questions or feedback from colleagues, I'm happy to hear. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mustafa. So what we have now is kind of an intriguing concept of pedagogy of rankings, I suppose, because what you are saying in terms of teaching, you talked about teaching separately in terms of university missions, but at the same time, I guess here we go into an area of teaching university managers how to work with rankings in terms of philosophy, in terms of what is useful, what is not, how to see it, and how not to create those fakes. I said fakes versus facts. I mean, fakes quite dangerous, right? And create toxic environment for everyone involved in the university business of misconceptions, etc. So you provide, this is a good concept, but in general, can I start with the question about empirical evidence? You worked as a manager of quality assurance, and based on your description in the encyclopedia, you just also mentioned that you have studied a ranking of some kind yourself. So tell us about the experiences in Syria and your university, maybe in terms of what really works, what doesn't, and why would the rankings be useful for very vulnerable system and country like Syria, and to what extent these rankings can be really helpful in changing the dynamics, improving teaching, research, or other aspects of university operation. Can you give us some insights, please?
Okay, thank you so much. Well, actually, first of all, talking about, how a ranking would operate and my experience with the body, ranking body that I was part in, I'm still actually, it was that we thought that we want a ranking body to provide a holistic improvement for university. For that reason, we designed, a methodology that address all areas of operation for universities. And for that reason, the idea it was that we would like to think holistic approach for university, comprehensive approach for universities, how to tell universities that, okay, we already have successful ranking bodies. Each one of them, they have certain criteria for different areas. For our ranking, we wanted to do something different, which is that we would like to measure all areas of operation, starting from governance to teaching to internationalization to research to student welfare to infrastructure. So our plan was to measure all areas of operation for universities. That was what we had in mind, actually. And after 4 years, like this is the fourth edition, we had more than 500 universities participated in the ranking. Actually, so far we can't, I can generalize the results because it's still early to talk about what universities want and how we can help them, how our ranking would help universities in different areas. Because, some universities, they might think that this methodology is okay for them because it enhances their operation on all areas. For that reason, this is helpful for them to measure the operation from year to another year. While other universities, those may be, reputable universities or big names universities or universities who already operated for years and years. Well, those universities, they're already successful ones. They don't need to try a new ranking system. For that reason, they tend to follow the already known ones. For that reason, universities maybe in areas that have gone through difficult times like wars, conflicts, and such things, they try to find and they look at ranking as a quality assurance tool. When I started talking, I'd say that we have difference between quality assurance, accreditation, institutional accreditation, which is like 5 to 7 years cycle, and ranking, which is 1 year cycle. For that reason, universities maybe in the Middle East or maybe in Syria or maybe in those areas that have been coming through different or difficult, operation, maybe conditions, whether it's about wars, conflicts, or they are new universities, they like to use ranking as a quality assurance tool. And we have found this very helpful for them. For that reason, those universities are not dealing with the ranking as I'm just filling details, I'm not filling numbers. They look at ranking as how we can improve and how we can enhance in a very similar way to how accreditation works. So when I work in accreditation, actually, I know that we have different maybe ESGs like in European, standards and guidelines for accreditation. Then we have ESG from 1 to 8, for example. So a university would provide proof that it's operating in a good way, is providing proof that it's working in a good way. Okay. For ranking, they do the same, but in a different way. So they provide that result of the ranking. It's not like, win or lose. It's not like you get accreditation or not. Here, the ranking says to a university that you get this number and you are doing this good in this way, you are doing good in research, you are doing bad in teaching, you should focus on internationalization. And for that reason, we felt that like rankings for those universities are similar to accreditation process. a very similar one. But again, this is not like 5 years cycle. This is 1 year cycle. So universities can see their development in a very fast way, not to wait like for 5 or 7 years. The situation in Syria, actually, this is a problematic issue because talking about 14 years of war and talking about how, maybe universities were having many issues like no staff to teach because of war. Many teaching staff they left the country. Many students were killed or they were forced to travel to other countries. So universities were not operating in that realistic, in that maybe futuristic prospect. So I believe that now after liberation of Syria, I believe that we can compare the situation in Syria to other countries in the coming like 3 to 5 years. Because again, if universities in Syria or in those countries deal with rankings as a tool to improve the operation, then we would be very happy. Actually, I'll look with optimism to the future. While if it's the second situation that they deal with ranking to just show the impact, neglect KPIs and such things, then it's going to be a problem, not only in Syria, but in other countries. So the situation in Syria is maybe different. I can provide details because 14 years of war, the holistic system of education in Syria was, it wasn't healthy enough to make comparison between how it was and how it should be.
Thank you. Thank you. Colleagues, any questions or comments? Just we'll use a few more minutes before we finish our webinar.
Okay, I think that one of the issues that Dr. Joe, he mentioned about my slide, my PowerPoint slide. Actually, I can provide, the slide. I can share it with you, Professor Natalie. So if any of our colleagues would like to get it, so that we, of course, I'm happy to do it.
Right, right. It's kind of a question from or comment from Wan Xin, please.
Yes, thank you so much. And this is a very insightful presentation. But I have I'm located in the US and I teach for a private university, which we're a Research One institution. In the last 20 years, and we've been trying to play the game. And as you mentioned it is a game of ranking. But I want to kind of push back a little some of the ideas of that you mentioned it here, because now we also realize many of these ranking bodies, they are primarily located in the West. So, and I think the only one that is not in the West is the one located in Shanghai. But that's also built on the idea that China can also join the global system and also to be integrated into the global higher education system. So that's how that ranking system was established. So how do you feel about the mechanism that was established by the Western institutions to evaluate the institutions, and now when we are trying to talk about internationalization of higher education in that whole kind of broader context, how do you feel about the fairness or the cultural awareness of the existing ranking system? And I think lots of institutions in the global South, and they may not really be fairly evaluated by that, because they do have their own academic and intellectual traditions, and they do have their own political, social, and cultural context that is very different from the Western. And even in the United States, and in the last several years, quite a few elite institutions were reported they were providing false information for ranking, and then they decided not to be ranked or not to be participating in the ranking game anymore, including Harvard, including Columbia. So how do you think about this idea that the rankings or the ranking system or criteria are not fair to a lot of institutions outside of the United States or Great Britain?
Thank you, Vincent.
Well,
Thank you.
many thanks for this question. Actually, this is a very, question that many researchers and many, professors who are working in higher education management, they always, it's their concern that ranking bodies are westernized. Ranking bodies are related to maybe developed countries. What about those new universities? What about universities in uh, maybe in other countries like growing universities? What about universities in the global south, for example? How they can improve, how they can enhance, how they can operate? Well, actually, as first regarding your question, yes, many of ranking bodies are, or most of them are in the West, but other ones, as you have mentioned, we have one in Turkey, one in China, and other ranking bodies that are not research-based university, not research-based rankings. They are web-based rankings actually. But for the first one, yes, I agree with you that many universities from different countries they started to leave rankings not only out of Europe, not in USA, even in Europe itself. Many universities, they felt that they have pressure, that they have the pressure to join the ranking, pressure to show that we are doing well, we are improving, we need to show others that we are following, a certain maybe criteria, we are following a certain maybe KPIs. For those universities, they started to leave rankings because they want to be away from this pressure. As in Europe, as in maybe Finland, USA, and other countries. What universities should do for the moment, they should trust their process away from rankings, or even if they are following rankings, rankings for them should be about a portrait for their operation. One more time, it's about the mirror. Ranking is a reflection for your operation. It's not a pressure on your operation. When universities start to believe that we deal with rankings to show our improvement, not that we want to get better ranking, at that moment, pressure would be less. And at that moment, all universities all over the world, they can operate in good way. Because one more time, nowadays, we have more than 30,000 universities. Okay, so I have universities in Global South, in different countries. I have universities in Malaysia, in Philippines. I have universities in Indonesia. I have universities in Africa. I have universities in Latin America. So what about those universities? What they should do? Those universities, they should, if they like to follow the ranking game, as you mentioned it, then they should deal with ranking as how to improve, how to develop. That's it. Not like, I'm competing. This is not about competing game. It's not about competition all the time. It's not a game. Because if universities start to deal with rankings as a game, as competing, then we will lose value. We will not focus on teaching. We will not focus on community service. We will not focus on mission. We will not focus on how to improve, how to enhance. At that moment, it would be about running after something. And every year we would run to do and to get a better ranking. For that reason, my answer to your question is that universities, they should deal with rankings as a tool to enhance the operation. That is it. If they like to follow rankings, if they don't like it, as I said, is it fake or fact? You decide. A university would decide whether it's a fact or fake. So at that moment, yes, a fake, leave it. A fact, deal with it with authenticity. It reflects my operation. That is it. No more than that. I'm not running after ranking. I'm not running to get higher ranking. I'm not running to get the best ranking ever. No, it's about this ranking is helping me to improve. It gives me a report to develop my operation. Then by the time this ranking is helping me to understand myself more. I'm providing my maybe better teaching, better research. It addresses areas that I can't see, and this is important. sometimes ranking would tell a university that you should focus on maybe teaching. You are not doing that. You should focus on internationalization because you get lower score in internationalization. At that moment, the university would think about, yes, I should do more to improve my internationalization process. Okay? Yeah. So this is not about those rankings in the West. This is about all ranking bodies. And if you move to IREG website, we can see that there are about 16 ranking bodies. Okay, different countries, different rankings. Some of them are regional, some of them are international. So all of them, they share the same atmosphere. We want to help universities to develop and improve. Okay?
Thank you
I hope
both.
that I've answered your question.
Right. I think you provided a sufficient insight into the complexity of the concept, but also invited us all to really explore more on these concepts and practices, right? And you also encourage all professionals working on the rankings or managers working on the rankings really just to be more thoughtful about how we use rankings and why we use rankings. So thank you very much for those encouragements and insights.